I thought nightmares were just dreams. You wake up, move on, and eventually just forget about it. I guess I was wrong. It was just starting to get chilly when I moved into that apartment. My semester was about to start, but I hadn't sorted out a place to stay yet. By the time I started looking, everything decent was already gone. So I ended up here, an old block of flats on the edge of town, right next to the woods. The building was really old and run down, and the flat itself wasn't much better, but it was the only thing I could afford at that point. The first night I moved in, I unpacked a bit, made noodles for dinner, and scrolled on my phone in bed until I fell asleep. That night I had this weird dream. It was from someone else's point of view. A woman's. She was somewhere narrow, dark, and wet. Then she started climbing, scraping at the stone walls around her as she tried to pull herself up. I could feel it, her nails ripping off, the weight in her arms, the cold air hitting her face when she finally reached the top. Then she pulled herself out of the hole into the middle of a forest at night. That's when I woke up. My heart was racing, and I was covered in sweat. I had that horrible feeling you get after a nightmare, but I figured it was just stress, new place, new start, and tried to forget about it. The next night I had the same dream again. It started right where it left off, the woman pulling herself out of that hole onto the ground. Then she started crawling, slowly, making this horrible wet gurgling sound every time she breathed, digging what was left of her fingernails into the dirt, dragging herself forward. Then I woke up again. Same horrible feeling. I just lay there for a bit, trying to make sense of it. Guess that's what I get for thinking about the first dream before bed. But night after night, I kept having the same dream. Each time, it picked up from where it left off the night before. The same woman, crawling through the dark forest, until one night the trees suddenly opened up, and there was this old building across the clearing, my apartment building. Then I woke up. That's when I realized the forest she'd been crawling through was the one right behind my flat. By that point, I was dreading going to sleep every night. I hated that raw feeling, her arms shaking as she pulled herself, the ground scraping against her skin, that horrible gurgling sound every time she breathed. I was sick of waking up feeling awful. But no matter what I did, I still ended up back there. She kept crawling towards the building. Then over to this old rusted staircase at the side that runs up the back. When she finally reached it, she started crawling up, like she knew exactly where she was going. Each night she'd make it a little higher, until she reached the 5th floor, my floor. It started to feel like the dream was getting closer to me, and what I'd been dreading was coming true. She was coming to me. That night, she crawled along the walkway on the 5th floor until she stopped in front of a door. My door. Then she lifted her hand, reaching for the handle, and I woke up. My whole body was tense, like I'd been holding my breath the entire time. After that, I couldn't bring myself to sleep. I knew if I dreamt again, she'd open the door. So I stayed up. I scrolled on my phone, cleaned the flat, anything to keep my eyes open. But around 3 in the morning, I started nodding off. I got up and went outside for some air. It was windy and cold. Then I caught something moving out of the corner of my eye, something down by the edge of the woods. I figured it was just the wind, or maybe an animal. But then I saw it. This shape crawling out from the trees, pale skin, tangled hair, dragging one leg. It was her, the same woman from the dream, crawling straight towards the building. I just ran inside, grabbed my phone and keys, and left, still in my robe. She was real. It wasn't just some weird dream. This whole time, I'd been seeing through her eyes. I don't know what she wanted from me, but I wasn't about to stick around and find out. I drove straight to the 24-hour McDonald's off the main road. I stayed there the rest of the night, trying not to think about her. Sometime after the sun came up, I finally built up the courage to go back. When I opened the door, there was mud all over the floor, but the flat was empty. She'd been here. She was really here. I just stood there for a while, staring at the mud on the floor. I was scared, yeah, but mostly, I was just done. I kept thinking, why me? What did I do to deserve this? I was sick of the nightmares, sick of being scared, sick of being exhausted. So I went out into the woods. I don't even know what I was expecting, but I had to see for myself. The forest felt familiar. It looked just like it did in the dream. And after a while of walking, I saw it. An old stone well, half covered in leaves and roots. This had to be the hole she crawled out of in the dream. My heart was racing. There had to be a body in there or something, right? Should I have called the police? Probably, but I just had to know. I walked closer to the well and shone my phone light inside. It was deeper than I expected. I leaned in a little further, trying to see. It looked empty, just a shallow puddle at the bottom. That's when I caught something in the reflection. A shadow right behind me. I turned fast, but my foot slipped on the edge. The ground gave out, and I fell. For a second, everything was quiet. Then the impact and pain shooting through my leg. I tried to move, but I couldn't. Tried to reach for my phone, but it must have fallen somewhere above. I was stuck down there. I don't know how long I lay there. My leg was broken. No one could hear me. I was cold, scared, tired, in pain. I looked down at my hands, shaking uncontrollably. And then it hit me, the dream. I'd seen this before. That's when I realized I wasn't going to make it out of here alive. I wasn't dreaming about someone else. I was dreaming about me. I was her.